Hey, what up, guys? Coming to you with another What's Next. This is on Demetrius Andrade, undefeated WBO middleweight champion. Andrade's currently my number 5 middleweight in the world right now. It looks like next he's going to be making a mandatory defense of his belt against Englishman Liam Williams. And then, after that, we don't know. So that's pretty clear that that's what he's going to do next. So I'm going to run through the top 10 and see what he could possibly do after a Liam Williams fight. So, the big question, what's next for middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade after Liam Williams? We start with number 1, a showdown, a unification bout with Canelo Alvarez. Like I said, I just don't see it. Canelo has better options with bigger names. And, guys that have established themselves more. And I know Andrade's desperate for a big name opponent, but because other people avoid him, Canelo doesn't need to fight him. He just doesn't. I don't think it's going to add to his legacy so much to fight Andrade right now. I don't think it makes sense. He has better options with bigger names, and those fights make more sense. And so I don't think Canelo, because Canelo now looks like he's probably just going to face Triple G in September. Excuse me. If Andrade faces somebody who faces Williams and beats him, which he should, is he going to want to wait around for Canelo's next fight after that, which might not be till the following May? I mean, I'm sure he would if he landed the fight, but Canelo's probably just going to be looking at other things, and I just don't think I don't think a fight with Liam Williams and what he's done is going to earn Andrade a fight with Canelo. I just don't see it. I mean, it could happen, but I'm not seeing it. So I don't think that happens after Liam Williams. Next, Triple G Gennady Golovkin. Well, I mean, it depends on how Triple G does, and what looks to be his next fight is going to be against Canelo. Now, Triple G could take his mandatory first, and then a couple months later face Canelo. That could happen still, because Triple G was penciled in for June. He could face Canelo, and then would he be willing to face Andrade after that? If he were to beat Canelo cleanly enough, yeah, I think he would be into facing Andrade. But even if he takes a close decision over Canelo, I think it's very likely we see Canelo and Triple G 4 in next May. So I just don't see Triple G giving Andrade the opportunity. So I don't think so. Number 3 is Jermall Charlo. I mean, Charlo, I think he's going to face Derevyanchenko next. Andrade's going to face Williams. What do these guys do after that? I think it's possible, I guess, if Charlo, but I think Charlo still has other options that might, he might not get Canelo or Triple G either, but I think he would look at like Chris Eubank Jr. and guys of that level just to avoid a fight with with this guy Andrade, because even though he's adding another belt, he's taking a risk. But I do think it is possible. But for PBC and Matchroom to come together, I mean, they haven't done it yet, and I just don't think they're gonna do it after these two guys fight next. But maybe Charlo, if he beats Derevyanchenko and beats him convincingly, maybe he'll ride that confidence and say, I don't give a fuck, I want to add another belt, so I will fight Andrade. So maybe, but I'm going to lean towards the less likely. Number 4 is Sergey Derevyanchenko. If Derevyanchenko were to upset Charlo, because I think Derevyanchenko's fighting Charlo next. If he were to upset Charlo and beat him convincingly, and a rematch with Triple G or a fight with Canelo is not on the table, I think Derevyanchenko all day would push for unification with Andrade and wouldn't be afraid for it, because Derevyanchenko is just that kind of fighter. I think he just wants to add more and build his resume, and he doesn't give a fuck who he fights. So I think it's possible if Derevyanchenko beats Charlo, which I think Derevyanchenko has a decent chance of doing that. So we'll see. Number 5 is Andrade. Number 6 is Andrade versus Chris Eubank Jr. I think Eubank might consider it because Eubank's desperate to find an opponent, always. But I think the PBC is going to have him stay busy, possibly with the promise to face, the Charlo Derevyanchenko winner, or possibly even put him in line for Ryota Murata in a mandatory fight, since Murata is the regular champ for the WBA. So, and Eubank's the interim champion. So I'm leaning towards the less likely, but I do think it's possible because Eubank's another desperate guy trying to find a big fight, and he's a big middleweight because he's moved up to super middleweight. So I don't think he's as afraid to take on a guy like Andrade. But, PBC's got to get together with Matchroom, and I just think it's less likely, but we'll see. Number 7 is WBA regular champion Ryota Murata. I'm not seeing this one. Murata, I think he's either going to make an optional defense with Top Rank and ESPN, or he's going to go after a rubber match with what's his name, Rob Brandt. So I don't think he's going to factor in Andrade as an opponent. Plus, this is PBC working with Top Rank. It's not a mandatory fight, so that'd be a tough fight to make. And then number 8 is Rob Brandt, former WBA champion. Not seeing this one. Brandt's with Top Rank and ESPN. Brandt likely has a showdown with, is likely going to get the third fight with Murata sometime this year. He might take an optional fight in between, but it wouldn't be a threatening fight in my opinion, so I don't see this one. And then number 9 is undefeated Jaime Munguia. Munguia is ranked number 1 in the current WBO rankings. He was also talking about fighting Kanat Islam, an undefeated middleweight, and that guy was number 3 in the WBO rankings. So that very well could still happen and be a final eliminator. If Munguia wins another fight impressively, I think it's possible he takes the risk and faces Andrade, because Munguia wants to face big name opponents. Golden Boy doesn't have a lot of big name guys. They just don't. That's, and they're trying to build their fighters. And I think Munguia might say, fuck it, I'll roll the dice and I'll face him. I'll face Andrade to try to add this belt. And if Munguia were to upset Demetrius Andrade in that fight, then I think there's a clear path to Canelo later on next year. So I think Munguia might want to do that, and I do think this fight could be possible next after Munguia becomes a mandatory and Andrade beats Liam Williams. And then finally at number 10 is Matt Korobov. Korobov's with the PBC. If the PBC allowed this fight, Andrade would be down for it later, just to get Korobov's name on his resume. But I don't think Korobov coming back from an injury, a torn rotator cuff, plus he's PBC, working with Matchroom in this fight, I don't think it happens, but I guess the possibility's there. So what do I think Andrade's doing next after this fight? I mean, it's up in the air. I would lean towards just another optional defense because nobody wants to fight him. But what I'm hoping for is a unification with Charlo, or the winner of Charlo Derevyanchenko, Chris Eubank, or even more than Eubank, I would hope for Jaime Munguia, because I think that fight would be great. It's a good matchup, but got to wait and see. And hopefully Liam Williams can expose a couple things in Andrade. I just don't think he's going to. So we'll see. But look forward to on DAZN sometime in the near future, Andrade taking on Liam Williams for the WBO middleweight championship. He's my number 5 middleweight in the world, and that's his what's next. I hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.